everyone, my name is Michaela and welcome to my channel. I am a 20-year-old college student at Louisiana State University. I'm currently in my 3rd year here and welcome to my college guide. So for this video topic, we are talking about financial aid. This obviously plays a huge portion in a lot of people's decision on where they go to college and literally everything. It literally pertains to everything because you can't go to college if you obviously cannot pay for it in some way. So let's get straight on into this video. So if you don't know, FAFSA is financial student aid that the government assists you with or loans you with to essentially pay for your college education. So I submitted my FAFSA as soon as it opened pretty much. I know it opens early October, is it early or late October? And try to get it done as soon as possible. Just so one, it's out of the way, you have it done, and it's one less thing you have to worry about when it comes to college. Now there are multiple types of federal aid that you can get. There's grants, there's scholarships, and there's loans. Grants and scholarships are what you really want to aim for and hope to get because you don't have to pay that money back. They're giving you the money to use and you don't have to pay it back. Now, not everyone is going to qualify for a grant or a scholarship because your FAFSA or your federal student aid is based off of either your income or your parents' income or whoever your guardian is, their income based off of their tax records. If your people or you make a little bit more money than what FAFSA think is required, you're probably not going to get as much aid as someone who comes from a lower income family environment. So that's when loans come into play. Now, there are two types of loans. There's an unsubsidized loan and there's a subsidized loan. Loans are money that you're going to have to pay back. The government is loaning you or your guardian or your parent or whoever's taking the loan out money. Now, unfortunately, of course, they want you to pay back their money, but of course, you know, they're gonna try to get you. So they put an interest on this. So subsidized and unsubsidized have two different interest rates. I'm not sure which one is higher. Yes, every single year you do have to renew your FAFSA because, you know, people's financial incomes change all the time. Some people have siblings that aren't in college one year and they are in college another year, and that all plays into part of your personal FAFSA. I know, it's crazy. Even if your parents in college, that pays into your personal FAFSA. You do have to refile your FAFSA every year. Now, the only benefit of refiling is that once you file, if your information pretty much stays the same, you don't actually have to make completely change all your answers. I have qualified for financial aid every single year I've been at LSU. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to go to school. If I didn't get financial aid, I wouldn't be able to go to school, whether that be in-state or out-of-state. I have to have financial aid. I have siblings, I have parents who are in school. It's just something that I personally have to have in order to go to college. So you're not in the boat alone. So basically, your out-of-state financial aid is going to depend on whatever school you go to, also the FAFSA information that you submit, how much money the government's willing to give you. So how LSU does it is you file your FAFSA, but you also put in what you think you'll need through LSU. LSU may give you scholarships and grants that FAFSA might not give you. So that's a really important part of filling out your application. They also do have the Alumni Foundation, which do hand out scholarships every single year, which is vital. If your parents can join the Alumni Foundation, meaning that you have someone in your family that went to LSU, whether that's a main campus or flagship or the LSU Parent Foundation, they give out scholarships every single year. So make sure your people are putting in their information to those organizations so you can get the most scholarship money as possible. What about in-state tuition aid? So in-state tuition aid is going to be a little bit different for LSU. LSU is a public school university, meaning that because I'm out of state, I do get another fee added onto my fee bill of an out-of-state tax. So the in-state students do not have that. That's thousands of dollars they don't have to pay. And also because they are taxpayers of that state, residents of the state that pay taxes, they get more aid put towards them from the state itself. So they have things such as the Pelican Promise and TOPS, which are, I believe they're grants that students get and they don't have to pay back, and it covers a ton of their financial aid. I don't get those because I'm out of state. I'm not a resident of the state. I don't pay taxes towards that state, so I don't get that option. My freshman year of college, I had the most amount of scholarships I've had since I've been at LSU, and that's because I had back home organizations I was a part of that offered scholarships to graduating high school seniors. Get as many scholarships as you can. It's gonna differ per person. LSU will give out scholarships. It really just depends on each person individually on if you're gonna get a scholarship, if you're not. There's no for sure way to know if you're going to get a scholarship, unfortunately. And yes, it actually does. In order to be called a full-time student, you have to meet 12-hour requirement, a 12-hour credit requirement per semester. That means you're taking 12-hour courses. Not each class is 12 hours, but in total, your classes are 12 hours, at least 12 hours. If you go below 12 hours, you are no longer a full-time student, you are a part-time student, and that can play a role in how much financial aid you actually get per semester. Your financial aid can change per semester. So you want to make sure that you're at least taking at least 12 to 15 credit hours to get the most financial aid possible of a full-time student. I say 15 because you might have to have a course that you have to drop, and you want to make sure you're still a full-time student so it's not impacting your financial aid. So if you're 15 hours and you drop a 3-hour course, you're still at 12 credit hours to be considered a full-time student. Of course, transfer students still get financial aid. Y'all still gotta go to college, right? Will financial aid only cover my tuition? So I get a lot of questions about this. So your tuition is not your cost of attendance. Your tuition is literally just your classes, like what it costs for you to take classes at that university. Your financial aid may cover only your tuition, or it may cover more than your tuition. It really just depends per person. It's kind of hard for me to answer personal questions about financial aid because it varies so much depending on each person. Will financial aid cover my cost of attendance? Now, like I said, tuition is just your classes. Cost of attendance are going to be your class fees, your meal plan, the gym fees. All these other fees are going to rack on top of you for being a student at their school. So in my personal experience, my financial aid has covered everything for me, and I'm grateful for that. So hopefully it'll cover your cost of attendance and your tuition, but I know that's not the case for everyone. It really just depends on what your parents can put towards college, which is something they also have to fill out on FAFSA. I believe it's called your FCT. Okay, everyone, that is it for this portion of the series. I hope y'all found this video informative, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye, guys.